In this video, we're talking about, is buying liquidation worth it? Check it out. What's going on, everybody? My name is Joe. This is the Family Flips YouTube channel. And my wife and I, Jessica, we are full-time resellers. We buy liquidated goods such as customer returns, box damage items, shelf pulls, and we turn around and we sell that for profit online and locally here in Conway, Arkansas. So today we're talking about buying liquidation. Is it really worth it? You always hear about thrifting as an option to be able to source, and then you hear like a very small population of people that talk about buying liquidation. Well, today we're kind of gonna battle those out a little bit between the two. So I'm gonna be focusing on 4 main points today that I believe are going to show you that buying liquidation is going to be a viable option for your reselling business. The first is going to be location. So for us, like, we live here in Arkansas. The population of Arkansas is like 2.5 miles. That's over a vast state, right? So when you think about thrifting and garage selling, and really, thrifting, I put those two together, is that thrift stores such as Goodwill's, Savers, and I forget all the rest of them, but that's not really important, is that there are only so many here because of the population size. I have a friend who lives in San Francisco, and he can go to 16 thrift stores per day and visit that many thrift stores every single day for the whole month and not even hit all of the thrift stores in the whole city. I don't even think that there are 16 thrift stores in the whole state of Arkansas. There probably is, but probably not that much more. So for him, his location is really an advantage for thrifting. For me, it's not. But you got to think of, depending on where you live, if you live in a big city or a really population dense area, that you are probably going to be able to thrift on a larger scale than somebody who lives in rural Arkansas or lots of other rural areas of the nation. Small communities, places that you just don't have a lot of thrift stores. So for you, buying liquidated items is going to be a huge opportunity and a huge plus because of your location. You're not going to have to worry about driving across town. Like for us, like, we can go to, I think there's 6 thrift stores in Little Rock. Little Rock is like 30 minutes from here. That it would take me really all day to hit 6 thrift stores, and then I may only find maybe 6 items per location if I'm really lucky, because the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies here, they use eBay as like the starting price. So very seldom can you find items to be able to thrift at those places, or to be able to buy to resell at those places, just because the price is so high. So if you're living in a location where you do have lots of thrift stores, but the prices are really too high, that's going to be another plus for buying liquidation. Instead of having to drive around all those places, you can get online. You can go to your local pallet liquidator if you have one close, and you can look and see what they have and pick up a whole week's worth of items to list, or even 2 weeks or even a month, depending on how many items that you list per week. You can buy a lot of items in a very short period of time to where you actually have a bigger bang for your buck, because you're not having to use, which goes to the next point, time. That time, like, you can buy with liquidated goods, you can buy a whole lot of product in a very short period of time. It's like this last weekend, we got a pallet in that had over 200 items, right? That's our week's listing goal, is 200 items. So for us, like, it would have taken days to be able to go and source 200 items. So you think like you go thrifting, and you may be able to turn that $5 item into $50 or $80, but how much time did you spend to make that money, right? So that's where buying liquidation and buying lots or pallets comes in also, is that yes, you may not have as much of a markup on that particular item, but your overall hourly wage, or how much money you can make throughout the week, can be a lot higher because of the amount of time that you are not having to spend buying liquidation versus having to go and to thrift all of those items. I know for us, like, there's garage sales. There's lots of garage sales that happen around here, but we live in such a spacious area that there may be 6 or 7 garage sales in my city on a Saturday, but it's going to take me all day to really be able to go to all of those garage sales. For you, I mean, I see some people using like the yard sale treasure map, and there's like 200 yard sales within like a 10-mile radius. That is crazy, right? But here in Arkansas or in other, other smaller areas, smaller communities, you don't really have that luxury. So you could be slamming and beating your head against the wall because you hear, well, you got to go to thrift stores, you got to go to garage sales. But then you're like, well, I must suck at thrifting. I must suck because I'm not having the same success as these other people are. But it's not because you suck, it's because of where you live, where you are. You can still be a great reseller and be a great entrepreneur or business person, but you can buy liquidated goods instead, because buying liquidation helps you save the time, and depending on where you live, it's going to be a big thing. So the next point I'm talking about is seasonal, right? So here in Arkansas, we've kind of got 3 seasons. We've got 4 seasons. We've got winter, but it's a very small winter. It may be a mild winter, like we may have temperatures that get down into like the 40s and 50s, but for some people that is spring, where people still have garage sales from time to time during the winter months. But if you live up north, people aren't having garage sales in the winter time, and they're really not having them during the springtime or the fall. Sometimes they will, but your seasons are so much more diverse that the amount of time that people are going to have garage sales and such that you can go and thrift at or pick items at is very limited. So you may get a lot of items during the summer and have like a booming reselling business, in the spring and the summer, then parts of fall, but then come winter, you're struggling because you've got no items. You've got no, your thrift stores, you're not able to get enough items to source because the season is just so diverse. Whereas for you, you may even want to look at buying liquidation items during those months, have it delivered to your door so that you can keep that momentum going and being able to build your business. And because, with listings, you want to keep adding more and more so that you continue to grow. So, which kind of goes to the next point is scalable. Is your reselling business scalable? If you want to scale, you may be a part-time reseller who may only want to earn like $1,000 per month or $500 per month. I know for a lot of people, like $500 is a lot of money. Like that could be groceries. Like you may be reselling to make groceries, or you may want to make $500 extra per month so that you can go on that vacation once per year. So, but for me, like I'm full-time, so I'm wanting to grow my business. A lot of people out there I see in different Facebook groups that they really want to be able to scale their business, but at some point with thrifting, you can't scale anymore. And the more and more people that resell, they get out there in the communities, and they go to thrift stores and garage sales, right? Because people are talking about thrifting everywhere. There are more people going to be buying these items as a whole, just because times are tough. People want to get a good deal and stuff, but people there's more and more resellers that are out there that at some point in time, right, you're not going to be able to source enough items. You're going to plateau. Your business will, your reselling business. But with buying liquidation, right, the number of online sales is growing exponentially every single year. The amount of customer returns that are occurring are growing exponentially. The amount of shelf pulls, the box items, like the liquidation, the availability of liquidated items, it's growing exponentially year over year. These companies, the product has to go somewhere so that you are going to be able to get items, right? You may not make the margins that you're able to with thrifting or with garage selling, but you still can be very, very profitable to where you can find lots of items to where your hourly wage is going to be a lot better. Being scalable, thrifting, you're going to plateau at some point. You're just not going to be able to source enough items, and if you do, then you're going to be traveling out further and further. It's the same thing with retail arbitrage. Like if you live in a very population dense area where there's lots of stores, you're always going to be able to find, like, there's lots of stores that you can go to without having to drive further and further out. But if you are in a population area there's just not a lot of people, there's not as many stores. So that even that option, it's going to plateau at some point. But buying liquidation, it's going to allow you to continue to scale, because you can buy a pallet. You can start with buying boxes, or small lots. That grows into buying a pallet and then multiple pallets. And then if you want to grow even more, you can get a larger space, be able to purchase a whole truckload. You start purchasing whole truckloads, man, that's like really where you can save lots of money. When we were buying by the whole truckload, we were saving 30-40% just because of shipping. So I hope that you have found this information useful. I really feel like if you really look at your reselling business, you look at your location, you look at the time that you spend thrifting, and yes, you may get the high of that item that you found for $1 and you turn it into $100. We get those same things with pallets. We're always finding items, that one item will pay for the whole pallet. So it's still that same type of thing, but you're just not going to have to spend as much time sourcing unless you are in an area, big cities that has lots of thrift stores, and you really don't have to drive very far or spend much time to do it. So then you've got the seasonal aspect, which talked about that you thrift, you garage sell, really specific garage selling. There's only certain seasons that you can do it. And with buying liquidation, you are going to allow yourself the opportunity to continue scaling your business and growing it larger. So I appreciate y'all's time today. Hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so, if you want to see more videos like this. And if there's any other videos that you'd like to see, just put that down in the comment section. But I appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.